Hi there, welcome to iTWireTV. Today we're joined by our special guest, Andrea Morgan-Vandome, Chief Innovation Officer for Blue Yonder. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrea.
Hi, David. Thanks so much for having me on. Really look forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, wonderful. So, Andrea, Chief Innovation Officer, that's a very exciting title. I guess, what can you tell me about yourself and your role?
It's a pretty cool title, isn't it? Yeah, so as you said, I'm the Chief Innovation Officer here at Blue Yonder. So as part of that role, I set the strategy and look at really where we're going to be making our investments, both in terms of investing in our existing product, new products, in acquisitions, and then obviously a big part of that is what's new in terms of innovation out there, and how might we apply that to everything that we do, and then of course how we go to market.
Yeah, fantastic.
A little bit about my background.
Yeah.
I've been at Blue Yonder coming up for a year now. So this is a new role that was introduced just at the beginning of the year. Prior to this, I was at Nike, where I ran supply chain technology for a while and technical product management across all of Nike. And then before that, I've been at sort of AI/ML startups. I led Watson product for a while, so a little bit of both technology as well as, in this case, Nike, the retailer.
Yeah, wonderful. That's exciting that Blue Yonder created this role. It saw the value of innovation. That's wonderful. So I suppose, what is Blue Yonder? What does Blue Yonder do, and what's its core offering?
Yeah. So Blue Yonder, we really look at how do you apply technology to supply chain challenges. So if you look at it, like some of the main ones would be things like planning. So we look at, what is it that you should buy or make, how much inventory you should have, where you should place that inventory. We do a lot in terms of operations and logistics. So how do you transport the merchandise in the most optimal way, managing the warehouses, and then right through to the consumers. So support for digital commerce for things like what is the available to promise, where is that inventory, what can we promise, et cetera, et cetera. So, very comprehensive sort of supply chain offering.
Yeah, wonderful. And so what sort of markets, what sort of sectors do you service in that?
Yeah. So we really go to market in three big areas. The first one is retail. So all parts of retail, grocery, hard lines, apparel, fashion, and then obviously manufacturing. So with some of the big areas being sort of automotive, high tech, semiconductor, CPG, to name just a few, and then logistics service providers. So that's really what we go after. And we typically are, and we service all regions. So North America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and obviously here in Asia Pac as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And is there, out of all of those, is there a typical Blue Yonder customer? What's your average customer look like?
Yeah. So I would say we really look at sort of medium to large enterprises. That would be sort of typical. So we have about 3,000 customers, which is quite a large number of customers. So as you can imagine, within that, there's all sort of different sizes and etc. And just to give you sort of some examples of customers that we have, for example, in retail would be here would be West Farmers and Woolworths here in Australia. If you look at some of the manufacturers, it would be people like Lenovo and Suntory. And then some of the logistics service providers would be people like Siva, Kuehne+Nagel, DHL, Linfox, just to give you some examples of it.
Yeah, no, definitely some big recognizable names there. So you mentioned the things that Blue Yonder does. I guess, what are for the companies, your customers, what are the business challenges that you're really helping them solve?
Yes, I'd say like when you look at the big challenges that are out there today, one of the biggest ones really remains like a lot of the disruption that's happening in the supply chain. So when you look at the disruption, a lot of what we bring to the table is in the ability to work to have visibility of what's happening in the supply chain really quickly. We use AI to help solve that. So both within the organization and across the organization. So that would be one of the areas. The second of the big challenges that our customers have is really around inventory. So how do they actually make sure that they've got inventory in the right places and in the right quantities? Because obviously you don't want to have excess inventory or like nothing on the, like no inventory available. So inventory is a really big thing. And then I'd say sustainability is another big area for us. And how do you sort of reduce waste? And there's going to be obviously a lot already are, and there'll be more sort of mandates coming in terms around sustainability. So those are some of the things that we help our customers with.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so I guess what's the market like at the moment? What are companies experiencing out there in the wild?
Yeah, so I think that it's interesting that I think supply chain remains really top of mind for a lot of the customers. I think we see that in the press all the time. A lot of the time, you're reading on the news, you can sort of point and say, there's a supply chain problem. There's a supply chain problem that we're able to solve. So I think that, there's a lot of challenges in terms of supply chain. We're seeing, as I said, still a lot of disruption. So the market remains like people are looking at how do they really address the disruption. I think in many of the industries, there's a lot of competition. So how do they put their best foot forward to kind of compete in the environment? And, I'd say another one is really sort of fresh. And like, how do I really go after fresh foods, localized, and like convenience? Those are some of the things that we're hearing and seeing a lot of in the industry.
Yeah, amazing. That's wonderful. That's given me a great understanding of, I guess, who Blue Yonder services, what their challenges are. So getting back to the innovation, to what you do, and you mentioned that you use AI, you mentioned that your background as well before coming to Blue Yonder was definitely in AI and ML startup. So how are you actually using AI in the industry?
So we've actually been using AI for a little while. So specifically from the AI side and machine learning, we use it a lot to actually look at how much you can forecast. So what you predict someone is going to be able to sell. So the demand, predict the demand. And then we use AI also to say, if that's the demand, how do I actually put inventory in the right places, the resources in the right places? So we're actually doing a lot of the AI at scale. It's like we have about 20 billion predictions a day.
Wow.
So it's really AI at scale. And then, obviously, what we've also done is put a lot into agents. So, obviously, generative AI is another big thing that's happening in the industry, as you well know. And so, we've been working with our customers on agents, and it's quite interesting. I was just looking the other day. We'd sort of delivered an agent around warehouse management, and it's incredible actually how really you can really get to the insights so super quickly. And so we'll continue to look at and work on our agents. And I think for us, the focus then on the agents is really how do you bring what generative AI is best at and machine learning together. So we'll do things like insights, recommendations, and allow people to kind of actually take the actions. And then ultimately, when people are ready, they can actually go to more autonomous decision making. So AI is a really big part of what we're doing, and it's super exciting. And it's almost every single part of the process we've actually applied AI to. And we're doing a lot of work in terms of our next releases. And we're calling a lot of those cognitive planning, cognitive forecasting. And, we've had a number of people go live and had amazing results on those.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Actually, that's interesting as well. So that not only are they some great AI use cases, but you mentioned you're using it throughout the app. So really, out of all of Blue Yonder solutions, AI is, I guess, playing a major part. You're going to embed that everywhere. Is that the plan?
Yeah, that is the plan. So basically, the way that we approach this is to actually say, how do we actually make AI? We bring all our AI together and we use it across the processes. Because sometimes if you just use AI to solve one problem, so for instance, let's say we use it, for example, for our space. If I'm looking at how much space to apply to something everyone can relate to on the shelves in the store, as an example, I might actually then also want to use the same AI, like AI really across the footprint. So I might say, look, how do I use this in the warehouse? So that's very much what we've done. We look at how do we map these processes end to end, really provide sort of deep capabilities in those. And then throughout, we look at how do we apply AI to make smarter decisions. And then, the last element of that is we've really looked at how do we tie in the whole ecosystem. So all of the partners, because there's a lot of value to be gained within the organization, within someone's organization, there's almost a step change when you look at how do you work differently with your trading partners, your suppliers, your carriers. And so it's, that's some of the things that we're looking at, and sort of AI helping with what is the most important things for you to focus on.
Yeah, fantastic. That's awesome to hear these great things that you're doing. But I suppose what's next? What are your R&D team? I mean, I'm sure we don't just stop here. What are your research and development teams working on next?
So we actually, as I said, we're doing a lot with AI. So we're actually looking at and investing in these cognitive solutions across the board. And we've got some really exciting ones that are coming out soon. We had a lot of sort of early adopters on some of them. And because what we're really doing is saying, how can AI change the way that you work? And so it's very, very exciting for us. And, we look at which of these areas might come together. So re-looking at how, for instance, you do things like warehousing, tied with transportation, etc. So we're very fortunate. We actually have had $2 billion to actually spend in terms of R&D and acquisition. So it's been, I think our customers are seeing a lot of value from that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. No, that's exciting. It's an exciting time to be a Blue Yonder customer. I've really enjoyed everything you've said. So, Andrea, you've been wonderful in telling me about your role, about innovation, about the applications of AI to the, supply chain world and the challenges they face and what Blue Yonder is doing. That's been awesome. I've learned a lot. Is there anything else on your mind that you'd like to share with iTWire listeners?
I just wanted to sort of share, I think we're really fortunate because we have fantastic customers, and they really help us as we look at what we're going to invest in and how we do it. And it's really just great to see the value that they get out of this, because we pretty much center everything that we do and making sure that we can drive outcomes and value for our customers. And so, it's been a lot of fun working with them, and hope to continue to do so.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And if anyone wanted to reach out to Blue Yonder to look at Blue Yonder solutions, where would they go?
Well, we do have a website, so blueyonder.com. So you should feel free to do that. We're also obviously on LinkedIn, and so you can take a look there too. And of course, if they're listening to this and see me, they're welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn too.
That's wonderful. No, thank you so much, Andrea. You've been fascinating. I've enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, really appreciate it, David. It's been really great talking to you. Thank you.
No, thank you. So that's been Andrea Morgan-Vandome, Chief Innovation Officer for Blue Yonder. Thank you.